All right, there, guys. We are back again. There we go. Like it or not, we still keep on going. Let me actually navigate through the two questions. So this time we have passage two, test number two, passage two, an introduction to film sound. Now, before doing, what we want to do is we want to actually know the types of questions. We have multiple choice, true, false, not given, and then we have some sort of classification stuff. So yeah, let me actually read through this part. The audience response to the different parts of a film can be controlled. The audience of a response to a different parts. The audience response to different parts of a film can be controlled. Something. The feelings and motivations of characters become clear. The feelings and motivations of characters. Okay. A character seems to be a real person rather than an actor. Seems to be a real person rather than an actor. All right. When the audience listens to dialogue, the blah blah blah. All right. Never mind. We don't really have that option just yet. Okay, so we have true false not given. Audiences are likely to be surprised if a film lacks background music. All right. Background music may anticipate a development in a film. All right. Why did I do that again? I'm sorry. Just get that. Anticipate. Background music has more effect on some people than on others. Background music, so more effect on some people than others. There's this comparison here. Background music may help the audience to make certain connections. Audiences tend to be aware of how background music is affecting them. Anyway, first things first. In the first paragraph, the writer makes a point that, okay, though we might think of a film as an essentially visual experience, we really cannot afford to underestimate the importance of film sound. A meaningful soundtrack, we cannot underestimate the importance of a film sound, meaning we cannot forget about it. We also have to take it into an account. So let me actually, as usual, make two tables: words in the questions, similar words from the passage. All right. So underestimate, underestimate. We have no, not that one, but underestimate is over here. Underestimate. So what do we have? A meaningful soundtrack is often as complicated as the image on the screen and is ultimately just as much as the responsibility of the director. So the entire soundtrack consists of three essential ingredients: the human voice, sound effects, and music. These three tracks must be mixed and balanced so as to produce the necessary emphasis, which in turn create desired effects. Topics which essentially refer to the three previously mentioned tracks are discussed below. They include dialogue, synchronous and asynchronous sounds, effects, and music. Background music, pretty much. And I think I found the first one for the number 24. For the 24, the audience's response to different parts of a film uh can be controlled by what? It says that though we might think of a film, so a meaningful soundtrack is often complicated as the image of the screen and is also just as much as responsible to blah blah blah. The entire soundtrack consists of three essential human voice, and I did I actually find that? They include dialogue, synchronous and asynchronous sound effects and music. The audience's response to different parts of a film can be controlled by if the film reflects the audience's own if voice, sound, and music are combined appropriately. Now, when the director is aware of the audience will respond. Okay, I think let's go for the next one. But however, I think the first one, the director should plan the should plan the soundtrack at an early stage in filming. Would be wrong to overlook the contribution. Would be wrong to overlook the answer. The overlook means to underestimate. So the option is number 14 is going to be B. So the answer is over here. It's really written over here. So I'm just going to give it a number 14. So there we go. Now, the one reason that the writer refers to Humphrey Bogart. Okay, in the third paragraph, the writer suggests, and what does the writer suggest about bringing up? And number 18, the writers clicked of a door. All right, Let us start with the dialogue. As is the case with the stage drama, dialogue serves to tell the story and expresses feelings and motivations of characters as well. Often with film characterizations, the audience perceives little or no difference between the character and the actor. Okay. So, thus, for example, the actor Humphrey Bogart is the character Sam Spade. Film personality and life personality seem to merge. So they seem to merge. So the two things they seem to merge means merging means connecting two things. So seem to merge means that the personality and the film personality and life personality they seem to have some sort of a similarity. Perhaps this is because the very texture of a performance voice supplies an element of character. One reason the writer refers is that the importance of the actor and the character appearing to have a similar personalities. Wonderful, wonderful. We have seem to merge. So underestimate, we have underestimate as a question is overlook, and then we have this one is number 15. Let me give it as a number 15 over here. So words in the questions we have, I'm going to take this as an answer. The importance of the actor is appearing to have similar personalities. Similar personalities. So similar personalities. So similar personalities means seem to merge, as far as I can, say. All right, now, the third paragraph. Textures, when voice textures fit the performance physiognomy and gestures, physiognomy is it's a I think it's a something related to a body and gestures. A whole and very realistic persona emerges. The viewer sees not an actor working at his craft, but another human being struggling with life. It is interesting to note that how dialogue is used and the very amount of dialogue used varies widely among films. For example, in the highly successful science fiction film 2001, little dialogue was evident, and most of it was banal, means boring, and of little intrinsic interest. And this way, the filmmaker was able to portray what Thomas Sobchak and Vivian Sobchak call an introduction to film. The inadequacy of human response when compared with the magnificent technology created by man and the visual beauties of the universe. Um, the paragraph is saying that it's pretty much it is saying that the viewer doesn't the viewer does not see an actor working at his craft, but another human being struggling with the life. Meaning he actually sees that person as a person act. I mean, as a not as a person who's acting, but actually something that is really real actually happening. So for example, in highly successful science fiction 2001, little dialogue was evident, and most of it was banal and of little intrinsic interest. So little dialogue means there was no dialogue. So little dialogue means less dialogue, less speech was added, and therefore the film that was produced was boring, which means dull. Here in this case, the paragraph suggests that a film dialogue that appears to be dull may have a specific purpose, right? And filmmakers may vary considerably in the scale and the skill which may they handle dialogue. No, there's nothing about that. The most successful films are those with dialogue of a high quality. Of course not. Audiences are likely to be critical of film dialogue that does not reflect their own experience. They're not actually going to be criticizing anything because they're saying they see viewer sees not an actor working at his craft, but another human being with struggling with life. It is interesting to note that how dialogue is used and the very amount of dialogue used varies widely among films. So, however, a film dialogue that appears to be dull may have a specific purpose. Uh, in this film, blah blah blah, inadequacy of human response when compared with the magnificent technology created by men and visual beauties of the universe. So, option B is going to be correct. Because also dull, dull, boring, banal. So we have dull, banal. Right. So we have I'm gonna take not this one. Not this one, but where was it? There we go. This is the answer. This is the part that I found the as the answer number Number what? Number 16. There we go. All right. What does the writer suggest about bringing up? The comedy bringing up baby, on the other hand, presents practically nonstop dialogue delivered at breakneck speed. Pretty fancy vocabulary over here. This this use of dialogue underscores not only the dizzy quality of the character played by the Katharine Hepburn, but also the absurdity of the film itself and thus its humor. Absurdity means stupidity, and the audience is bounced from gag to gag and conversation to conversation. There's no time for audience reflection. The audience is caught up in a whirlwind of activity and simply managing to follow the idea. This film presents pure escapism, largely due to its frenetic dialogue. I'm not really sure what the meaning of frenetic. I mean, I forgot about that. What does the writer suggest? That the plot suffers from the filmmaker's wish to focus on humorous dialogues? I don't think so. It's not much mentioned about suffering. The dialogue helps to keep it one of the best comedy films ever produced. No, there's a mismatch between the speed of the dialogue and the speed of the actions. There's nothing about speed, I guess. There's always stupidity and its humor. Humor, no, absurdity means like stupid kind of thing. Although I'm just saying in a rude way, not to mean it in this manner. The nature of the dialogue emphasizes key elements of the film. I think it's a key element of the film because key elements of the film it is mentioned as key elements of the film means here it is saying, but also, all right, let's just say, but also the absurdity of the film itself and thus its humor. So there we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Where was that? Option number D, I guess, is the correct option, but I'm not sure yet. Click of a door. Synchronous sound effects are those sounds which are synchronized or matched with what is viewed. For example, if the film portrays a character playing the piano, the sound of the piano are projected. Synchronous sounds contribute to the realism. So synchronous sounds contribute to the realism of film and also help to create a particular atmosphere. For example, the click of a door being opened may simply serve to convince that's me to convince the audience that the image is portrayed is real, and the audience may be subconsciously may only subconsciously know the expected sound. However, if the click of an opening door is part of an ominous action such as burglary, the sound mixer may call attention of the click with an increase in volume. This helps to engage the audience in a moment of suspense. Are often used to give the audience a false impression, maybe interpreted, maybe modified in order to manipulate. There we go. To manipulate. To manipulate means to make them to engage with the audience. To manipulate to means to engage. To manipulate means to keep them engaged, I guess, right? To engage the audience. Oops. Engage the audience. There we go. Now, true false not given questions. Number 19. Do we have anything else? Number 19. All right. Audience would like to surprise with background music. Asynchronous sound effects, on the other hand, are not matched with a visible source of the sound screen. Such sounds, did we have anything about lack of background music? I didn't really think so. Did we have background music here just yet, right? Or did we have it? I don't think so. Okay. Asynchronous sound effects, on the other hand, are not matched with a visible source of the sound on screen. Such sounds are included so as to provide an appropriate emotional nuance. Nuance. All right. On the other hand, are not matched with a visible source of the screens on screen. For example, and they may also add to the realism of the film. Okay, add realism to the film. For example, a filmmaker might opt to include the background sound of an ambulance siren, while the foreground sound on and the image portrays an arguing couple. This asynchronous ambulance siren underscores the psychic injury incurred in the argument. At the same time, the noise of the siren adds to the realism of the film, acknowledging the film's site setting. So, audiences are likely to be surprised if a film lacks background music. Okay, nothing about it. We are probably all familiar with background music. Hold on. The audience response to a different part. The audience's response to different parts of a film can be controlled. I think I found it somewhere around here. A meaningful soundtrack is often as complex as the image on the screen, and it's ultimately just as much as the responsibility of the director. The entire soundtrack consists of three essential ingredients. These tracks must be mixed and balanced. They must be mixed and balanced means can be controlled, mixed and balanced. Controlled, I forgot about that. Controlled means mixed and balanced. So it must be mixed and balanced as to produce the necessary emphasis which in turn create desired effects. So 24 we have so topics which essentially refer to the three previously mentioned tracks are discussed below. They include these tracks must be mixed and balanced so as to produce the necessary emphasis, which in turn create desired effect. So means necessary emphasis means to to include something that is necessary, which in turn create desired effects. And if the film reflects the audience's own concerns, audience response to different parts of the film can be controlled. The feelings and motivations of characters become clear. A character seems to be a real person rather than an actor. I think this one is an option C. 25. 25. 25. We have a feelings and motivations. So characterization, the audience perceive little or no difference between the character and the actor. Perhaps this is because the very textual performance of voice supplies an element of character. We have motivations. Um, Feelings and motivations of characters become clear. Let us start with the dialogue, as indicated with the stage drama. Dialogue serves to tell a story and expresses feelings and motivations of character as well. Often with the film, the audience perceives little or no difference. Perhaps this is because the very texture of performance of voice supplies an element of character. So the feelings and motivations of characters become clear. Um, I need to remove C because I almost chose it again. When the director is aware of how the audience will respond when the actor's appearance, voice, and moves are consistent with each other, and when the audience listens to the dialogue. Dialogue serves to tell a story and expresses feelings and motivations. I think that's number 8. So that's why they have to listen. A character seems to be a real person rather than an actor. Um, so here it talks about the being. A character seems to real person rather than an actor. It is interesting to note that how dialogue is used in a very amount of dialogue used various widely among films. For example, highly successful science fiction. When voice textures fit the performance physiognomy and gestures, and a whole very realistic persona emerges. When the actor's appearance, voice, and moves, so the actor's appearance means performance physiognomy. I'm gonna take that. Um, I'm gonna write as what was it? A character. So the option E says actor's appearance, voice, and moves. In the passage, it is saying physiognomy, and gestures. Physiognomy and gestures. I typo over here. So the answer number E, option E is the correct. So we're gonna remove these two. We're left with only three options. It doesn't tell us we can choose more than once. All right. Now we're back again. Audience are likely to be surprised. Okay, surprise. We are probably all familiar with the background music in films, which has become background music in films, which has become so ubiquitous as to be noticeable in its absence. There we go. Audiences are likely to be surprised if a film lacks background music. Yes, true. Because the option, the word, the reason that it's true, it says that um, what was it? Which has become so ubiquitous as to be noticeable in its absence. Means they are the word likely to be surprised means they're not actually, it's not, the word surprise is not actually conveying the word of a surprise when you're given a present without actually being noticed. You're like, oh, I'm gonna gift you I'm gonna gift you something, and you'll be obviously waiting for me to give you something, right? So the word surprise here is actually playing in a different role and saying surprise means that they will be questioning what, that something is not enough. So which has become, it has to be noticeable in its absence. So background music may anticipate a development in a film. We are aware that is used to add emotion and rhythm, usually not meant to be noticeable. It often provides a tone or an emotional attitude toward the story and or the characters depicted. In addition, background music often foreshadows a change in the mood. Okay, foreshadows a change in the mood. So this one was option number 19, and this one is option number 20. Uh, Option number 20, background music may anticipate a development in the film. Yes, foreshadow means anticipate. So it's true again. Background may anticipate development of film. So, in addition, background music often foreshadows a change in mood. So, all right, this tone of music may be used in a film to indicate an approaching but not yet visible menace or a disaster. So, background music may help the audience to make certain connections with the film. Background music may aid viewer understanding by linking scenes. This one is telling about audiences tend to be aware of how the background music is affecting them. Background music may help the audience to make certain connections within the film. So 22, background music may aid, yes, may aid, help. So like basically, help, whoops, help and help the audience to make certain connections. Help means, let me actually remove this. Help here means to aid. We have certain connections. Certain connections are working as linking scenes. All right, now this one is going to be true. There we go. More effective or similar than others. This one is probably not given because we haven't found whether or not it has more effect. There's nothing about comparing one person with another, or be it people. So it does not really necessarily talking about more effect. Background music has more effect on some people than others. There's nothing about that. So this one is option question number 22. All right, audience tend to be aware of how the background is affecting them. So 23, film sound comprises conventions and innovations. So we have come to expect an acceleration of music during car chases and creaky doors in horror films. Acceleration means running, yet it is important to note as well that sound is often brilliantly conceived. The effects of sound are often largely subtle and often are noted by only our subconscious minds. We need to foster an awareness. We need to foster an awareness of film sound as well as film space, as to truly appreciate an art form that sprang to life during the 20th century in modern film, the modern film. So the 23, the audiences tend to be aware. No, they have to foster an aware. Foster an awareness means they have to like aware them, but they are not. The audience are not tend to be. They are not tend to be aware. So the option is going to be false. So I guess we have done the passages. I think we have done with here. There we go. So yeah, we are finished with passage two, I guess, guys. Now in the next video, we're going to be following with the um passage three. I'm not really sure about the passage name yet. However, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, you may, just comment in the comment section down below. And if you're not, and obviously share the video to your friends so that you obviously help the channel to grow. Because you have nothing to lose. Otherwise, anyways, make sure to subscribe, like if you liked it, and dislike if you disliked it. And of course, if you want to reach me, make sure to leave a comment. Thank you very much.